Tell us a little bit about some of the trends in DPC. You know, I would think that the model is now working, and we're seeing more practices adopting this model. But how do people, you know, let's say if you're a physician and you want to join a group that is part of this concept, or a patient, how do you find these particular docs? Because, you know, it's one thing to hear about it, but how do you go about, you know, implementing this at both levels?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dr. Bell. I would say that the biggest challenge that you have with the DPC model is you have doctors that are hybrids, take Medicare, might take some insurance, and are trying to start their DPC practice. That subscription-based model. Obviously, you can do the math, 65 times 600 people or whatever, and you can kind of figure out how it works. The challenge is you've got to get someone that stops cold turkey and can go right out and start a subscription-based model. The next challenge is most employers in America are small. They're small companies. So Dr. Gross and many of these people, with the exception, and this is Shane, by the way, Shane Purcell's book. If y'all haven't seen it, you ought to get it. Magic, Pixie Dust, and Miracles. Unfortunately, he's got a little comment by me in the front, but other than that, the book's great. But anyway, that was supposed to be funny, but I'm trying to look at the camera, not look at y'all's face. But Christy Gupta, one of our Mitigate partners, helped in a lot of aspects. Christy's one of the most foregone experts on direct primary care there is, but she's a benefits advisor in North Carolina with us. But that's a challenge in itself. And when they run out in the marketplace and there are groups of 5 and 10 employees, those are easy groups to get. But when you get them in your practice, Dr. Bell, just having DPC is not going to cut it. You have to have some type of catastrophic insurance with it. And so that gave birth to the medical cost sharing ministry programs, Sedera, which is a sharing program, but it's not religion specific. Tony Dale is a wonderful man. Y'all might know a physician that started it. He wrote a book also. This book, if y'all hadn't seen it, is pretty good. Tony Dale, The Cure for Healthcare. He's out in Austin, Texas, and he started Sedera. And so you've got to marry that DPC with some catastrophic plans. And then the problems then become for the members is if they got any pre-existing conditions and any issues, they can't get the Sedera plan. So it's gotten a little convoluted, but they have focused and been able to win on these smaller employers. But Dr. Purcell was different in that he got Anderson County, South Carolina, right outside of that other orange school, Clemson, which I actually don't mind Clemson. I like that, but I don't mind Clemson. Even though we took them down this year. Of course, it looks like everybody's going to take them down now. But anyway, Dr. Purcell got Anderson County, and there are about 600 some employees. So he had to onboard all that. So there he is getting a full panel like that. So when you look at the challenge, I don't know if I'm answering. When you look at the challenges of it, then you got a company that's got a few employees down there with Randy in Alabama, got 100 in Atlanta, 200 in Tampa, 5 in Cincinnati. That gets very difficult to do because that doctor up there charges $100 a patient. This one charges $65 a patient. How in the heck do you do all that and make it work? So we're working on some things. I can't say much about it to try to make that more uniform. But I gave Rhonda, I think, these links. I think I did, Rhonda. I give them to people all the time. The DPC Mapper and DPC Frontier. Those show where most of the DPC docs are. But it is challenging. We got a group down on the Southwest Gulf Coast, not far from Gasparilla, that we're trying to help. And the doctor we want is full. And we got about 82 people we can send them. But we need to get another group, and that group decided not to do anything at this moment. So we couldn't give them a full panel to hire another doctor. So those are the challenges that I think you're going to see around the country. And then the other challenge is if a DPC practice takes on a big group and that group decides, we don't want to use DPC anymore, then they've taken down bricks and mortar and they're left holding the bag. So it's a real difficult thing, and you've got to find, and when I'm talking, the reason I brought up numbers of employers and sizes, if you're going to bring a doc on and get them to stop taking Medicare and insurance, they got to be able to build a panel. And then the next thing they have to do is they got to get into communities. And no offense to any of you guys on this phone call. And the only one I spent more time was Randy. And I think Randy could sell anything. He's just got the most soothing voice in the world. I mean, the best voice there is that I've heard. But most of these doctors are not salespeople. But they're respected in their communities. And I gave this talk at Dr. Gross's 2019 DPC Nuts and Bolts, about 400 DPC docs there, about how to acquire clients. I did that talk with the physicians in Michigan. That was part of my talk, how they could do it. They have to go out in the communities and do direct contracting with these employers. And I don't know if I'm getting way off base here. That's what they have to do. They've never done that. And all their patients before in their old life was through the network. Like you said, oh, they got blue. It's all focused on what we call the processor. Don't you ever use the word payer. They're not payers, they're processors. The only payers in healthcare are employers and employees. And Medicare and Medicaid, the only payer is the taxpayer. Ain't no
Carl,
Amen, brother.
Let me ask you a
Amen.
question. This just came into my head. So,
well, hey, I was on a roll, man. You're interrupting.
no, I know. Shit. I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, they can
Go ahead,
bleep
Dr.
that. They can bleep that. What the heck? Sorry.
Go
No.
ahead, Dr. Zion.
What I was going to say was, I was thinking about corporate Lowe's, for example, in Charlotte, and what they do with their cardiac care, routine cardiac care, they ship to the Cleveland Clinic. They take care of the airfare and everything for their employees of corporate Lowe's. So in that setting of a large employer, why can't you take this model and have it on site? And you know what, I don't know how many people they have on site. They may have 3,000 corporate employees. So you hire that many physicians and then they have a core group and it's just within a business. Why wouldn't major businesses do it that way?
That's a great question, Dr. Zollinger, and some of them are. They're calling them on-site clinics. That's been kind of going on for 25 years or so,
Okay.
30 years.
Yeah.
So that is out there, but you just said it. You have to have enough people in that one location to have it. And if you got them spread out in 20 cities, you can't put one in every city.
Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion today. If you'd like to learn more about our guest, head on over to our Patreon page, where you can access exclusive content, including the full segment of our show. Never want to miss an Inside the Doctor's Lounge clip? Be sure to click the subscribe button to our MD Coaches YouTube channel. As always, we appreciate suggestions for future show topics. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. And finally, special thanks to Ryan Jones, who created and performs our theme music for the show.